We just wrapped up week 9 of the 2023 NFL season. And there's not an actual midpoint to the NFL season anymore now that there's 17 games, but I chose between week 9 and week 10 to be my midpoint because each team has played at least 8 games, and I'm going to be doing my mid-season awards. For the first half of the season, I'm going to say who would win the award. I'm also going to give my prediction on who might win the award at the end of the season. Starting out with Offensive Player of the Year. If the season ended today, I feel like there's just a few candidates that stand out from the rest. It's been a wide receiver the past 2 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's a wide receiver again. Of the wide receivers, I think the only candidates would be Tyreek Hill, Stefon Diggs, and AJ Brown. For running backs, to me, there's only one candidate, and that's Christian McCaffrey. And for the end of the season, I think Christian McCaffrey will be the only running back that has a chance to win this award. I just don't think that any running back is really dominating the game like Christian McCaffrey is. And I don't think these other running backs like Moss will keep up this production to win the award at the end of the season. I guess it also could be Raheem Mostert, 11 touchdowns, and he's been unbelievable. But I don't think it'll be him, nor do I think it'll be Christian McCaffrey. To me, it will be Stefon Diggs, AJ Brown, or Tyreek Hill at the end of this season, and that's a tough one. If the season ended today, I would give the Offensive Player of the Year award to Tyreek Hill. His speed has been unmatched. He's like no other player. He's one of a kind, just under pace to break 2,000 yards, and the way he plays in McDaniel's scheme, I think just separates him from AJ Brown. AJ Brown, though, also over 1,000 yards, would be my second place. Titans got fleas, can't believe they gave him up still. Also, I wanted to mention that if David Montgomery didn't get injured and missed 3 games so far this season, I think he would be in the conversation to win Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think he would. I truly think it's going to be a wide receiver, most likely Tyreek Hill. But if he didn't miss 3 games, he would have been up there with yards and touchdowns with Mostert and McCaffrey. Next up is Defensive Player of the Year. There's 4 candidates, and it's going to be one of these 4 at the end of the year as well. TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons have all been having amazing seasons. They all have the sack count, and I also think that Aiden Hutchinson would maybe be a potential candidate. I gotta call out my Lions. He only has 4.5 sacks though, but does have a pick and a fumble recovered and the pressures. But I got TJ Watt right now for the mid-season Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he's gonna win it at the end of the year. He is single-handedly winning games for the Steelers. He has 9.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 18 QB hits, 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 6 pass deflections. Week 2 against the Browns, he won that game for him, had a fumble recovery touchdown, had 1 sack, 4 QB hits, and a pass deflection. Watt's been an animal, and I think he'll win it, especially if he keeps up the sack count and turnover count. The third award, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and there are quite a lot of people I could see winning this at the end of the season, and quite a few to pick from right now. Some candidates right now for Offensive Rookie of the Year: Jahmyr Gibbs. Gotta call out my Lions. He probably won't win it though at the end of the year, and he's not really a candidate right now because he hasn't played enough games due to his injury. Bijan Robinson, of course, another candidate. I love the battle between Bijan and Jahmyr. You know, everyone has their opinion on who they think is better. I have mine. I'm not going to say it because I'm an unbiased Lions fan. It's Jahmyr Gibbs. We also got another Lion for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I swear I'm unbiased. Sam Laporta. He's up there in receiving yards with Kittle, Kelsey. I also think Devon Achane would have been a great candidate. 12 yards an attempt, 460 yards through just 4 games. Sadly, he was injured. Another one, Puka Nacua, was amazing through the first 7 games. Production has been down the last 2, and that's because Stafford is out and Cooper Kupp is back. And for those reasons, I don't think he's going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. We all know that the Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to be CJ Stroud. He led the 2-win Texans team from last season to a 4-4 starting record, over 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns to 1 interception, a 102.9 passer rating, 62% completion rate. CJ Stroud is blowing everyone away. It also could be Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. I just don't think either of these people clear CJ Stroud. Unless CJ Stroud just shits the bed and plays terrible throughout the rest of the season, he should win this award. Defensive Rookie of the Year. A quick honorable mention before I get into some people. I think Christian Gonzalez would have been a strong candidate, at least a candidate. Sadly, he was injured, season ending. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, Joey Porter Jr., cornerback for the Steelers, has been great. Will Anderson has been great. Brian Branch has been solid, did miss a few games, but I believe it's going to be between Devin Witherspoon and Jalen Carter. To me, Jalen Carter right now clears and he'll probably end up winning this award. His pressure count has been amazing. He has 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 7 QB hits, and 2 forced fumbles, and the Eagles haven't lost when he's played. Comeback Player of the Year. I got to get this out of the way first. If Damar Hamlin wins Comeback Player of the Year, it won't be the end of the world and a terrible thing. I've seen so many people already start complaining that if Damar Hamlin wins Comeback Player of the Year, they're done. He literally died on the field. I mean, I know it's not the most exciting choice, but it makes sense. I can see Tua winning this. Coming back from a scary injury last year has been great this season so far. 2,600 yards in 9 games. However, the Dolphins haven't really beat anyone good, but I don't think that matters for this award. I also like Josh Dobbs. I don't think he's going to win, but he's up there. Definitely a candidate. Only has 2 wins, but they've been great ones. Beat the Cowboys with Arizona and then led a last-second comeback drive, setting up the game-winning field goal with the Vikings while only being on their team for less than a week. And there's Lamar Jackson, 7-2. Great start for the Ravens. They look dangerous. They look like the best team in the NFL right now. They're destroying good teams. Now, there is the argument that Lamar's defense is carrying him. Other parts of the team are doing just as good as he is. Lamar hasn't had to go out and win games by himself. And I agree, but coming back from his injury last season, he's been dominant with the Ravens. And I think right now he'd win the award, and I think he'll win at the end of the season. Actually, probably not though. Probably Tua or Damar. I don't know. I feel like they could pick Damar, but I feel like they won't at the same time. I have no idea. Breece Hall is also a candidate coming back from his season-ending injury last year, but I think one of these 3 quarterbacks or Damar Hamlin have a better chance at winning it. 2 awards left. Here we have Coach of the Year. I think Coach of the Year goes to no one else but Dan Campbell. Led the 1-6 Lions to 9-8 last season, and this year has had them on a hot start, going 6-2. Hopefully brings the Lions to the playoffs. Looking like it's going to be a playoff year for the Lions. Hopefully they can win a playoff game, but either way, I think Dan Campbell easily wins Coach of the Year right now and at the end of the season. Lastly, for the MVP award, comes down to 2 players. No one else is even close to these 2 players, and again, it's going to end up being these 2 players at the end of the season. It's between Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. They stand alone, and honestly, it's quite a good debate between these 2. I can see it go either way. I think it's definitely going to be a quarterback this season. It's not going to be Josh Allen. Too many picks, not winning enough games. Better quarterbacks playing right now. It's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. Way better quarterbacks playing right now. Mahomes is, I think, having his worst year of his career. It's not going to be Tua. Not going to be Lawrence unless they just somehow go crazy in the second half of the season. And if it was not to be a quarterback, it'd probably be Tyreek Hill, but I just don't think he compares with Lamar and Jalen Hurts. Now, Lamar balled out against the Lions and destroyed the Seahawks, both high-win teams. However, his defense only allowed 9 points in those 2 games combined. Now, his offense and him did put up 30, but only allowing 9 points just shows how well this Ravens defense is playing. But Lamar only has 3 picks. The Hurts is 8. He does only have 9 passing touchdowns. The Hurts is 15. Hurts has a substantial amount more passing yards than him. The Ravens are blowing out really good teams, and the Eagles are in a lot of close games, but they always come out on top, and sometimes we usually win by 1 or 2, maybe 3 scores. I'm going with Jalen Hurts for my midseason MVP award, and at the end of the season, I think it's also going to be Jalen Hurts. This is because of the touchdowns, the yardage, and the better record just by 1 game, but still. I don't know how to explain this. I don't want to just say that Lamar's defense is carrying him because that's not what's happening. It just feels like Lamar's defense is playing so good that it just makes his job just so easy and relaxing. And I also just feel like Jalen Hurts is taking games into his own hands. He's taking control of games and winning them for the Eagles. I guess the best way I could put it is that Hurts is winning the Eagles games while Lamar is helping the Ravens win games. But he's also not scrambling like he used to. He's become a great passer this season, so it's a tough one. Maybe Hurts wins MVP and Lamar wins Comeback Player of the Year. Anyway, those are my awards. Surely you don't agree with everything I said, so come at me in the comment section below.